pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Slightly open here for our final Mando mini of the season. I'm your host, Doug Heller, film critic and film historian for TalkMovieToMe.com. Here, as always, helping me to plan the rescue is my co-host, Jerry Dean Roberts, film critic and film historian. I think you're a film historian, my friend. ArmchairCinema.com, ArmchairOscars.com, and OverThinkingOscars.wordpress.com. How you doing, Jerry?
I'm so speechless. I don't even have a clever little quote this week.
This was a hell of a thing.
I want to say I'm exhausted. I really am.
Episode 8, Chapter 16 of The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 8.
There are spoilers all over this.
Holy
so
crap.
Go ahead and say I called it.
Yeah, you did.
I said this 3 weeks ago. I said this is going to be him. If you haven't seen it, turn it off because
Turn us off right now because look. So let's talk about the beginning first.
Okay.
I want to talk about the lead-in. I love that there was like 4 minutes, and then we were in the assault. I love that it wasn't like a let's leave this for the last 5 minutes and then have a big thing. It's like this is going to be most of the episode, and I love it.
Or let's theorize about the morality of all of this and then get into the episode.
You're right. Yeah, no, they didn't do any of that.
No.
It's just they've got the kid. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, they've already done the theorizing, the morality, and all that stuff. It's just
They did that in the last episode.
They did that in the last episode. They've been doing this the whole season.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, as I do when I approach the season finale of anything, what are the last 5 minutes of this going to be?
Well, yes. The last 5 minutes of this are...
Because, I mean, that's kind of where I'm going with this mentally.
I mean, well, look, there's a post-credit sequence for anybody who hasn't watched it and is still for no reason...
or cut it off
listening.
right as the episode ended.
Yeah. There is a neat little coda for Boba and Fennec, which also opens up millions of questions, just like the reveal. Now, what I'll say is they got in, the fights were awesome, and then they're stuck on the bridge, right? And you and I knew that there would be a Jedi would show up.
Okay, this is where I'm going to say it. I called it.
You did.
I called it 3 weeks ago to my wife. I called it on this show. I called it to several people, and everybody's like, please, I mean, no, it's not going to be. It's not going to be Luke. No, it won't be Luke. But it's, it's just like, oh, Jerry, you and your theories, Old man Jerry's gotten in the cough syrup again. Glug, glug, glug.
And hey, it was Mark Hamill. I'll tell you what, this is... I loved seeing Luke just tear ass through the ship, like, by himself with no effort whatsoever.
Old man. It looks a little like his old man tearing through the rebel.
A little bit.
Well, when he landed...
Well, I knew as soon as the X-Wing comes in, I'm like, okay.
Well, when I saw the X-Wing, my first thought was, it's one of those guys. It's one of those. That's what I was thinking. I thought the Republic had shown up.
Oh yeah.
And then I thought, okay, this is the Jedi. And then I thought, okay, it's Luke. What confirmed it was the lightsaber.
Well, as soon as I saw green, I'm like, okay, well, it's not Ahsoka, and there's only one lightsaber. It's not going for two. Okay, so it's not Ahsoka.
Well, she lost one of them.
Just into the pool. I'm sure she
in the
got
water. I don't know. Yeah, but
lightsabers
I mean,
still work underwater, so it's.
Well, Yeah, and as soon as I saw the green lights, they were like, okay, this is him.
Yeah.
But I kept thinking, how is it going to work? Because we remember how crummy Leia looked at the end of Rogue One.
Yes, but
And
we also remember how good Luke and Leia looked in The Rise of Skywalker during that little flashback to their training.
I still say Tarkin looked all right.
I do too.
Um, but I kept thinking, how is this going to look? And it looked pretty damn good. I will say the lips probably didn't. If you kind of nitpick a little bit, the lips maybe didn't work a little bit, but he didn't have so much to say that it just was a massive distraction. And he
Right.
wasn't on screen that long.
Right. His face was not on screen for very long.
Right.
Um,
But it did look damn good.
it did. It did. I liked it.
They made him look slightly older.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he looked old enough. It's 5 years.
Yeah.
So they made him look just slightly older. And I thought a little bit more, the expression looked a little wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the voice was on cue.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well, it was Hamill that did it. So
it was Hamill that did it, but it didn't feel like
old man Mark saying lines for
right.
young. Yeah, no, they pitched it to make him sound like he was 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Yeah, they really did a good job. My favorite meme is there's a picture of Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park. It's like, John Favreau. You did it, you son of a bitch! You did it.
Now, see, my hope, when I got up this morning, I was getting up and I was helping my wife get ready for work, and I was going to take her in, and I didn't, but she opened social media.
Yeah.
And was immediately ruined. Like, in the time it took me to go downstairs, pop some Pop-Tarts, make some coffee, and come upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
she had said, "Don't open Twitter."
Yeah.
And she said, it's huge. It's
Mm-hmm.
huge. And at that moment when she said, "You're not going to believe it," I'm like, "Oh, it's Luke." That second, I'm like, "Oh, I know who it is." And then I got really excited because I'm like, well, we're going to get to see him tear ass through these Dark Troopers. There's no other way they're going to beat them unless Ahsoka comes with them from the start.
Well, my wife also had kind of as he's because there's a nice little build-up to get to him because they're trapped on the bridge and they have Moff Gideon. All the stormtroopers are dead, and all of a sudden, they're outside the door. They're punching their way through,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this nice long build-up, and then all of a sudden, Casca sees it on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "Okay, it's either Ahsoka,
Yeah.
or it's Ezra, or it's Luke."
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw, actually, I started thinking as soon as I saw the cloak, I thought, okay, they're going here.
Well, yeah, I knew. For me, it was the X-Wing, because he is the only Jedi that we know of that would have been around that would have had an X-Wing. Ahsoka did not have an X-Wing. Ezra flew an A-Wing and a Y-Wing, and
They could get one.
yeah, but
I mean, the
because
Republic's around; they can
yeah,
get one.
but it's New
Ahsoka,
Republic.
maybe
It's
not.
like,
But
yeah, it's probably a little less likely for them to get that because most of them were probably put into service into the New Republic. So and it wasn't like a lot of people didn't have a lot of TIE fighters when the Empire was
Yeah.
around. So it's probably the same thing to me. But as soon as I saw the X-Wing, I'm like, okay, it's Luke, and this is going to be badass. my fear for this, and yes, I do have a negative to Luke showing up like this, because who would I be without a negative?
I don't really have a negative. I'm just happy. I'm just happy that it happened.
Fan service wise, I feel like this is going to be the moment for the people who dislike The Last Jedi to say,
Yes.
look, this is what we wanted, this is how it was supposed to be, and this is what should have happened in the first place. They're going to you latch onto this and say, look, he came in lightsaber swinging here, why didn't he do it there? And, I mean, that, of course, removes 30 years of character growth that we haven't really gotten to see yet.
Right.
So, but, you know.
Well, it pulls. I mean, it's time-wise, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because she said there aren't a lot of Jedi left.
Mm-hmm.
And so, confirm-wise, I mean, how many Jedi are there? There's Ezra, there's Ahsoka.
Ezra's around. We don't know where Ezra is.
Right.
Or, frankly, if Ezra is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going on with Ezra. I have a feeling that we're going to find out a little bit more about him in the Ahsoka show.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling that that's when Sabine Wren is going to be introduced to live action.
Yeah. I thought Sabine Wren was going to be introduced in this show.
I was pretty sure that we would see her after we got Ahsoka because they were together after the end of the war, but maybe she's off doing maybe she was off doing something else. I think
Bo-Katan was enough.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan was enough.
Bo-Katan.
Let's face it, this season threw a lot of familiar characters into this.
Yes.
They didn't step on each other, and none of it ever, and it all felt organic.
Mm-hmm.
I probably didn't. I think this was enough. I didn't probably need any more than this.
I'm happy because knowing now that Ahsoka's getting her own live-action show, when I saw that Ahsoka was getting her show when they announced it a week or so ago, I knew immediately that Sabine was not going to be in the season finale of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Because she was going to show up there.
Mm-hmm.
I also felt that Ezra wasn't going to be in this episode because that's a storyline that needs to be resolved. We need to see that story resolved, and I think that's where
it needs to build to that.
Yeah, I think that's where Ahsoka's going to take us, and so him just showing up. But Luke coming in, and like I was telling you before we started recording, it answers the question of, well, why the hell didn't Luke know about Grogu?
Right.
He did. But now it opens up millions of other questions as to, well, what happened to him now? Did Kylo Ren kill him when he destroyed the temple? Was he at the temple? Was he training with another master?
Is he still around?
Yeah. Is he dead? Did he decide after he gained speech to not become a Jedi? What happened here?
Well, I do have a couple of questions, but the one thing we got to talk about is the ending of this, because the way it plays out.
About both endings of this.
Luke shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that inevitability. And it starts really to come down to the fact that he's going to have to give him up.
Right, and Grogu, I love it when he's standing there, he's like, he doesn't want to go with you. And Luke says, he's waiting for you to tell him it's okay.
There's an exchange before Luke even shows up.
Yeah.
Between them, that he knows that eventually this has got to happen. This has got to come down.
Yeah.
And eventually, when it does, You know, it's like he's waiting for you to kind of sever the tie. It's
To
like,
say it's okay for him to go.
now my question is, he does go. And by the way, the ending of this, the music to this, when they mix a little bit of John Williams kind of style, and you can hear the Mandalorian's theme, and then as it goes on, as it rises to that moment, that sort of starts to break as they sever.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ludwig Göransson is a master. He is.
If you watch the gallery and you listen to him and how he puts this together, it's really, really brilliant. When he gets to that moment and they have to part company, and I said, this is the payoff. These moments are the payoff for having been such a huge Star Wars fan for so many years.
Yeah, this was
when it lands on moments like this.
Yeah, this felt to me. This gave me
earned.
This gave me the feelings that Rise of Skywalker should have.
Right. And that a lot of Last Jedi did.
Yes. For me, yeah.
When you get to the end of this, it's so earned, and they're looking at each other, and it's like you knew this had to get here.
Right.
What I didn't expect was that it would happen a little earlier in the episode. They're looking at each other, going, I know that this is temporary. This has to break eventually. Mm-hmm. But when he gets down to it, and he says he's waiting for permission from you to go, and I didn't expect him to take off the helmet. And again, that's another thing that this episode or this season has been leading to.
See, I actually had a really great joke that I didn't set up because we started talking about Luke too fast. I was going to say, the reveal in this is amazing, completely unexpected, when he takes his helmet off for Grogu, not Luke. But I didn't do it, so it's not funny now. But I was very touched by that. And you knew if he was going to let people see him, it was going to be because of Grogu.
Yeah.
That there was no other. There was nothing else that affected him as deeply as the child.
Everything in this scene, everything in this episode, is completely earned. Mm-hmm. They build to all of this, and especially to the idea that he's okay taking his helmet off when it's necessary. Mm-hmm. Because, she reveals he's a child of the Watch, and they're zealots, and they don't take their helmets off. But then he gets down to that moment, and there needs to be that contact. There needs to be that face-to-face.
He understands that, it's time. Grogu's never seen his face.
And they even set it up in that episode where they're sitting in the ship, and he's eating, and he tips his helmet up, and Grogu's kind of looking under.
Yeah, he wants to know what he looks like.
Right. So, like I say, they have beautifully set all of this up. Mm-hmm. And finally getting to that moment. And what I'm looking for, and I'm going to start doing this weekend. I'm going to start doing a full series marathon to get to this, because the budding relationship between the two of them. When does Mando know exactly who this kid is? Yeah. And when does the kid really start to trust him? And it's this building arc that they've had that lands here. Mm-hmm. My question is, where is this going?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Because last season, when we ended, we had big questions about where it was going.
yes.
This season, I have massive questions about where this is going.
So there are so many questions about the end of this season because there were three endings.
Yeah.
Three stories wrapped up here or
Mm.
transitioned to their next phase.
Right.
One of it was Din Djarin and Grogu,
Hmm.
and now Luke has Grogu. I loved Grogu meeting R2-D2. That was one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I did not expect Art to.
I didn't expect R2 to be there. That was one of the most adorable things that I've ever
Mhm.
seen. The only thing that would be more adorable is if he was with BB-8 or Dio.
Crowd control.
But
I'm okay. I'm okay with just Luke, and I'm okay with.
oh
Luke
no,
and
I
R2,
wanted it to
but-
be R2. I'm saying the only thing that could have been cuter is
Yeah.
him with BB-8 or Dio. But I
nice little
loved,
cute pile.
yeah, I loved seeing him with R2. But the second ending comes to Mando, Din Djarin, and Bo-Katan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Din Djarin disarmed and beat Moff Gideon in hand-to-hand combat and won the dark saber from him.
Right.
And now, for Bo-Katan to wield it, she has to beat Din Djarin in combat. Now, it doesn't say to the death because the people have lived when they've lost the dark saber.
Yeah.
Now,
I like how he just says, "I yield. Take it."
yeah, it's like I don't want this. I got what
Yeah.
I came for. Like I don't.
Mhm.
This is nothing to do with me. And now that they have an Imperial light cruiser,
Mhm.
I think season 3 is going to take us to Mandalore.
I think so. But I'm wondering about this whole thing with the lightsaber. It's like they're going to have to battle each other.
Well, I think, and this is just me and my problem-solving capabilities. I think he would just throw her the spear. They go
Mhm.
bing, bang, boom. She knocks it out of his hand. He goes, "Okay, I yield," and they're done. And they don't actually have to go into full-out combat for it. Or they could treat it as a sparring thing, know that they're not going to kill each other, and whoever wins takes the thing, and he probably
The
can't
dark
just throw
saber
it.
does, with the presence of Luke, kind of drop out of the plot. Because,
That
and I don't say that as a
whole-
negative, but
no, the
it's
whole Mandalorian Bo-Katan thing is lost as soon as Luke walks.
or put on hold.
Yeah. Well, for the episode, it's put on hold until next season.
Yeah.
Because nobody gave a damn after.
Yeah.
That's the storyline that it's like, okay, there's a kernel here for next season, but we're going to talk about that next season. We're not going to... Now,
And Moff Gideon tries to kill himself. Did you notice that?
he does, and
Casca stops
Casca
him.
just beats the shit out of him and knocks him out. Yeah. So the
By the
Republic
way,
has
him getting beaten up by that, what was it, the Death Trooper,
yeah.
the Dark Trooper. I get it. I played Dark Forces. I get it.
Oh, that thing is those things are monstrous. I hated those things.
I got my ass handed to me so many times in Dark
Me-
Forces. Just
Only way I got past that in Dark Forces was cheat codes.
was
The
the cheat code.
only way.
Yes. I get it.
I remember that stupid little room where they first attack you. It is burned into my mind, and you've got to like fight
Yes.
them, and you've got to get out of the room and do. Oh, I hated that level. Oh,
I had to put the game down and just go away for 3 days because I was like, okay, I'm getting frustrated. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
And that was
Uh,
1995.
That was not. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like-
Star Wars Doom.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah, no, it
I
was
do.
those are very difficult to beat if you are not a Jedi.
Right.
Um,
Right.
now,
Can we talk about the other one?
the ending, there is a post credit sequence, and
It's kind of silly.
it
But
is,
it's
but so when the credits are done,
and there's no art, by the way.
right? There's no art for this, and it
Yeah.
smash cuts to the exterior of Jabba's palace on Tatooine.
Mhm.
And you go inside and you see a very corpulent, somehow still alive Bib Fortuna.
Mhm.
How he got off the skiff, I don't know, or the sail barge, I don't know,
Mhm.
but good for him. So
Yeah.
I guess for the last 5 years he's been overseeing Jabba the Hutt's former empire.
Mhm.
And he got
Yeah.
fat. And
He inherited the throne and the weight.
right, yes. Apparently, you're not allowed to be able to actually move around if you're in charge of Jabba's
It's a sweet looking.
enterprise.
It's a sweet looking throne, by the way.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, blaster shots ring out. People keep getting
Mhm.
killed, and then in walks Fennec,
Yeah.
and then in walks
Walks Boba
Boba
Fett.
Fett. Bib Fortuna, oh, I thought you were dead. It's nice to have you back. Hey, blah, blah, blah. And without so much as a by your leave, just shoots him in the chest, pulls him off the throne, sits down, and is like, okay, well, this is where we're going.
And said the Book of Boba Fett,
Yeah.
coming December 2021.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a little silly, but
It was fun.
I'm okay with that.
I liked
It was
it.
fun.
It put a little
I
button on
can't-
him that I liked.
I can't quite figure out why he didn't do this before.
He didn't have his armor.
Okay.
He also
But,
didn't have Fennec.
Oh, I also like the combative nature when they all get together. Just in that bar at the beginning when he's talking to Casca and Bo-Katan, and they start sneering at Boba Fett.
Like, you are not a Mandalorian. Never said I was.
Yeah. I mean, Mando has accepted him as a Mandalorian. You know,
That's because Mando was a foundling and so was Django.
and these warring factions. That's going to set up a very interesting conflict going forward. I am worried because where is this going? The kid is now gone.
Yeah.
So the central thing of that story is over, effectively.
Right.
So I don't know where the series is going from here. And can it remain as interesting?
Well, I think there are a lot of avenues opening now, and they're expanding the post-Jedi world.
Yeah.
With the New Republic show that's coming, that's set during Mando. There's the Ahsoka show coming that's set during Mando, and
I just don't want him to get overloaded.
right. I think that with those kind of out there, and now with Luke, I'm gonna wager that Luke and Ahsoka are gonna cross paths.
Yeah.
Because there's no real reason for them not to, and it would be really stupid if Luke never met his father's apprentice.
This is true. This is true.
Like, that's just
That conversation
stupid.
has to take place at some point.
And it will be one of the greatest things ever. But Now, I think that this is also going to open up my greatest wish from this, which is an animated series with Mark Hamill going through his
As Luke.
training. Yeah, going through the training of the new generation of Jedi leading up to Kylo Ren's betrayal.
Okay.
I want to see that so bad it hurts.
What was your take on the Bad Batch?
I was okay with them, but the reason I was okay with them is because those little bits were quintessential core Clone Wars storytelling.
Yeah.
From episodes that didn't involve the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I enjoyed them. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've been with the Clone Wars since '08. You know.
Yeah.
You went back and rewatched it and finally
Yeah.
saw all of them. I've been invested in this and watched it week to week to week, all 6 seasons.
Rebels,
all
I was
7
completely
seasons.
involved. I was completely involved in. Clone Wars jumped around so much. I just got lost.
You see, I didn't.
Um,
I just. So that's why I like the Bad Batch and why I'm excited for the Bad Batch. And Ming-Na Wen is coming back as Fennec for the Bad Batch, which I am super excited about.
just call it what it is. It's the Dirty Dozen, essentially.
Yeah, but there's only 5 of them.
Yeah, but it's the Dirty Dozen, essentially. But
Well, I would actually dispute that. And here's why. Because the Dirty Dozen was the original Suicide Squad.
yeah,
This is more a group of special forces that you never really get to see what they really do. Like these are the Black Ops guys that you never knew existed. So we're going to get to see, and it's being set after Revenge of the Sith. So
Yeah.
this is going to be prime post-Order 66 storytelling. This is stuff we have not seen yet.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, also give me a little bit of redemption, because when they first showed up at the end of Clone Wars, I was generally kind of indifferent, because I thought, okay, it's just every ragtag team of misfits, and I was like, and it really didn't get time to percolate, which is why I'm happy for this series.
Yeah.
Give us time to really get to know the characters a little bit, because I thought, okay, it's another group of mercenaries, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all of these shows. I am worried about them getting overloaded.
Yeah, but at the same time, the way that they've handled it, and the fact that Favreau and Filani are maintaining their control over this television universe, I think signals very good things.
Yeah. But can the writing be as good?
See, I was going to say the only problem is that when Dave Filani is split between projects, one of the projects suffers.
Yeah.
Because he was working on Mando pre-production when they were doing Resistance, and Resistance suffered as a result. Because
Resistance is such an underwhelming show.
He was not there for it. He didn't. His touch wasn't present, and it suffered as a result. It gave us a couple of okay characters, and the Colossus was at the Battle of Exegol.
Yeah.
So was the Fireball. So all of that, but
one thing I would love to happen, and this is a small thing, but I liked Forces of Destiny.
Yeah, those are
Um,
cute. I liked those.
they're cute, but I would like to see an anthology series like that because they're so short.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get time to build. They're only a couple of minutes. Oh, they're only a couple of minutes long. I'd like to see an anthology series like that.
Yeah.
That build into the other series that they've got going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're sort of side stories. You know, how Leia works into this series, or how how Jen Ursa works into that series. You know, just kind of something off to the side like that. That's not just it's over before it gets started.
Right.
You know?
Well,
I don't know if that was a test run on something or what, but it was
we'll
really
see.
it was Star Wars girl power is really what it was.
Yeah, which I'm happy with.
I'm happy with, but not for about 5 minutes. More than just 5 minute
Well, yeah,
bits.
I would love. The Forces of Destiny proved that the only thing that the runtime of Forces of Destiny proved is that Forces of Destiny should have been longer.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
But I'd give it all up. I'd give all of it up for my Obi-Wan show.
I am
That to me
very
is
looking
the
forward to
jewel.
that. And
That's the one in
Hayden Christensen is coming back to play Anakin and Vader, or at least Vader, if not Anakin in flashbacks, which I'd be surprised if they don't use him for flashbacks.
yeah.
Um, that would
I
just
don't know
be
what
a
the template
waste.
of this show is going to be, but I
I
am
almost
I
don't
am
care. I'm just
no.
excited, just beyond, and because isn't it taking place somewhere in the time frame between Revenge of the Sith and Solo? So it's not going. It's not going to start butting up against. I think it's only like 5 or 6 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Well, yeah, because in A New Hope he's 60 years old, so they want to kind of.
Yeah. Um. So
But that's the one. That's the jewel. That's the one I'm really looking forward to.
yeah.
Out of all of the shows, I'm looking forward to all of it. But that's the one I'm
Yeah.
aiming toward.
That's kind of my holy grail. I've been waiting for Kenobi for a long time. Um, I'm really, really interested in their High Republic series that's coming.
Mhm.
Because holy crap, is that going to be just visual splendor? I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to get to see the Republic in its heyday,
Yeah.
or at least at the beginning of its
Plus,
decline.
but I got to tell you, I am worried about the future of this show because Grogu has been the central linchpin of this whole series.
Yes.
And now he's apparently not the central linchpin of this series because he's going off
Mm-hmm.
to to be trained by Luke. And I'm worried that that's not that without that the show might suffer a little bit.
We'll see.
Because without that central pinning, where's it going?
We'll see.
Mm.
Because I I don't anticipate that we won't see Grogu again.
Yeah,
Even Mando said, I'll see you again.
yeah.
We'll find each other again. Like,
Mhm.
this isn't the end between them. It's just a pause, and
Mhm.
I'm sure he'll show up at least once in season 3.
Mhm.
I think that it'll be an important turn, and the season premiere is going to be whether it stands or fails.
Yeah.
Because if we can get through an entire episode establishing a plot that doesn't have anything to do with him,
Mhm.
and it works, then season 3 will be okay.
Yeah.
But if they don't manage that, and the whole episode you're sitting there going, "Ah, where's Grogu?" Then season 3 is going to be a trial. But
And the internet shark jumpers are just waiting for this
Yeah.
to fail. It's like, "Yeah, this is it. I called it." You know.
this is going to be the naysayers for this are going to be like there was an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where they were using a psychic, not that they wanted to, but Detective Boyle says, my Nana had the gift too, and it cuts away to him with her, this old woman. She goes, "I feel like I'm going to die soon." And Charles says, and they were in a hospital, and he goes, "And she was right. 3 years later, she died." That's the naysayers right there.
Yeah.
It's like, eventually, yes, this probably will falter, but you're going to be there like, I called it, but you called it in for episode 3, not season 3.
Well, I love the naysayers struggling with this season.
Well,
because they just didn't have anything.
There's nothing to naysay with this season. This is...
Unless you really, 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 really dive down into it. And I'm not willing to do that because this season has been so solid.
Yeah, I can't... yeah, I don't think that there's anything else...
2020 has been such a dumpster fire.
It's amazing that this came out of it.
I'm so glad that this something positive like this has come out of it. Here we are at the tail end of 2020, and finally, it's such a good show.
Right.
It's such a really, really good show.
In a year of very few bright spots, this is definitely one of the brightest.
And the best show on television, in my opinion.
I think that's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I got.
Yeah. You can find all of our Mando minis and all of our full-length episodes at the podbaydoorspodcast.wordpress.com. You can listen to us on iTunes and YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe, and make sure you get those notifications coming in to you. You can find us on Twitter at pod_bay. Copy and paste that handle in a Patreon, and you'll be able to find us over there as well. We thank you so very much for listening, and the pod bay doors are now closed.
The mission has been completed.